false narrative which is inconsistent with actual reality. It is true that I have a disability, schizophrenia, and it also is true that a conspiracy has and is occurring. The two are mutually exclusive. So I'm going to try and find another document to read out, which is my PID, and provide that with this document as well, and the evidence which demonstrates that regarding the Public Interest Disclosure Act, I'm absolutely eligible to make a disclosure. I might just say those now. I'm the former spouse of a high-ranking public official, which provides me an attribute in which I can make a disclosure. I'm also regarded as a public official. That's because I've been a nurse in a public hospital, which identifies me as a public official. It's also the case because I was contracted to a government service, the NDIS, for my employment, which also identifies me as a public official. And if those three things weren't enough, then I have got a federal court document by Scott Treadwell, who is an authorised person at the federal court, and he's satisfied with the evidence that I've provided that I was employed by the Department of Social Services. That's not a statement that can be watered down, it's not an opinion, and it's not something that can be backtracked on or changed. Otherwise, it would be an obvious choice in order to further block my prosperity and my justice. There you have it. I'm absolutely a public official, and I absolutely have the right to make a public interest disclosure. I was going to send it to you all today on video, the authorised recipients at all the places at the government, but I haven't been able to because my computer's been hacked by the very agents who I'm complaining about. And I do realise the hypocrisy and the irony in that I'm asking for an acceptance or an acknowledgement of someone in the government who is a part of the very government that is abusing, neglecting, and causing my harm. Again, I wish to say, I don't wish anyone else any harm. Can we please act and cooperate to find a meaningful way in which I can be provided the basic things in life: home, food, medicine, shelter, freedom from protection of persecution, some freedom from being stitched up for a crime in which I've been arrested by complicit police who I've never been able to report a crime to, and the cruelty of having me awaiting sentencing with no home and barely food, no rights, no legal rights, and the time is marching forward towards my sentencing, in which I believe will be used as a convenient way in which to jail me, and that will solve the problem of if I killed myself, the government wouldn't have a body on their hands, and additionally to that, it solves the problem of my homelessness, because it costs a certain amount of money to put someone in jail. It would cost a lot more money to be able to give me my just and equal and righteous prosperity that I am owed. And that includes a $500,000 settlement from Steve Icenides, my former partner, and he is obliged to make that to me as far as the legislation goes around what is considered a relationship with gay de facto relationships. It can also be demonstrated that there is a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, that it does victimise me, it's been cruel, and it has blocked me every single way that I've tried to get prosperity for myself. That includes work cover. I've not been paid my work cover. It was ruled that I'm not an employee for the purposes of the SRC Act. However, as we can see from the federal court, I already have a document proving beyond reasonable doubt, which isn't an opinion, that I was employed by DSS. In addition, as well as all these injustices, I've been blocked in other ways. My HGF income assist has been rejected on account of it being a prior illness. It absolutely wasn't. I have the medical evidence which suggests I went to the doctor for years, and schizophrenia was never something we talked about. It was there for STD screening. And further, I'd just like to point out it is very easy to demonstrate this corruption and this political witch hunt, because I have submitted all of this to Anthony Albanese, the Prime Minister, and he's offered a response to me, but he's neglected to act meaningfully in the situation, which has led to my non-protections and further corruption and me being arrested. And secondly, I'd like to say that my response from the National Anti-Corruption Commission, when I detailed all the corruption to them, that they have refused to acknowledge me, and they've just done what is a methodology of the government: delay, deny, defer. Do whatever it takes to elongate this in order so we can examine, investigate, and then prosecute him and stitch him up for what he's not responsible for. And I would just like to say, I've been drugged and raped, I've been robbed, I've been violently attacked by a government contracted thug. It's not okay that this happened to me. It's not okay that I'm placed under surveillance. And just on the last thing I'm going to say, I'm not a rapist, I'm not a pedophile, I'm not an extortionist, I'm not a terrorist. In actual fact, I don't care who's in power. It was my moral and ethical obligation to call out corruption in this country for the sake of democracy and for the sake of humanity. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, of many people who haven't survived and who've paved the way for the rights that we all enjoy today. My situation is dire. I'm at imminent risk of death, and that same PID from the federal court says there's an imminent risk to my health, life, welfare and safety. That was back in early 2023. Currently, I have no home, no rights, I've got nowhere to go, I've got no money, I've got no access to the law, no justice, and I've been stitched up in trumped up charges, and it's order to shut me up, to silence me for being a liability to the government, for calling out corruption. But it's my moral obligation to do so, and I will still do that from where I am now, even though I've got so little and that nobody is on my side, because I've been character assassinated. So it's Baron Dodger, and I'd just like to say those things that I read out were an impartial assessment by an AI legal expert, which I haven't influenced, and those points, those 8 points that I read out at the start, are absolutely pertaining as important things regarding my public interest disclosure, of which this little speech is a part. Thanks for listening. I wish no harm on anyone. Please do not harm me anymore. Thank you.